Hi, welcome back to another edition of Legal Quilts. Today we're back on the Tapestry quilt, the sea surface one, and it could not be more relevant. It is late November and I'm in t-shirt and a t-shirt, and that is not normal for here. So what we're going to do, you hopefully have cut all your strips and sewn them into one long strip and labeled them so you know which color is which. I've got them all laid out here. And so today what we're going to do is start cutting them into the strips and sewing them together. We're going to do this in sections. So the first thing you're going to do is get your color, your tapestry card here. It has the list of them. And you see I've got the colors right here in the order that they're listed here. I couldn't quite get them right next to each other, but they're in the right order, so I can go, oh yeah, this is this one right after this is coral, this is Bordeaux, this is berry, so that in case I mix them up or I lose the labels, I can still go back and see which colors are which. You're going to take this card, this list, and you're going to draw lines after every fifth one. Because you're going to do this in sections, it goes much easier. Even if you're going to sit down and do it all at once, do it in sections. Because if you just try to do one long quilt, first of all, you're going to have this whole long piece that you're sewing one 2-inch strip on. And that's going to be just too weighty and it's going to pull. The other thing is, if you make a mistake somewhere and you're all the way down here and your mistake is up here, fixing it is a lot harder. It's a lot harder to catch too. And this one, it is so important that it be in order. I keep saying that, but it's because if you have it off, it's not going to show the progression of warmth. And believe me, when you get this together, you kind of can tell when you start seeing this that all of a sudden certain colors don't show up anymore and certain colors weren't here. So you can kind of see the progression already, but when you do it all together, you're really going to see it. But if you're off, it loses the impact. So you're going to do this in sections. Okay? If you've got a design wall or you're doing it all at once, you can just lay out your sections, and then the next one we'll do is sewing the sections together. But for now, take a line, take your pen, and draw under every fifth one. Today we're just going to do section 1. We're going to start by cutting because it's a little, like I said, we're doing this 62 inches, which is not quite 2 pieces. That's why they're sewn into one long one. So you're going to have to cut a 62-inch piece off your longer strips. We're subcutting. Now, I have this magnifying glass. It's really great, and I'm trying to remember where I got it from. Yeah, I can't read that. Who it's from. But get yourself a magnifying glass. This one has a line on it. I don't think you can see it. But you put it on your paper, and you put the line right under the one you're working on. That way you don't lose where you are, okay? And you just move it down each one. That'll also help keep you organized. So the first one we're doing is seascape. So you grab your seascape, and you're going to measure it out. Now, most people don't have cutting mats that are 62 inches wide. So how do you do that? How I do it, and everybody has a different method, you put it on the 0 over here. I measure 30. And then you put your finger where 30 is. You've seen it when they're cutting out a yard, more than a yard in the fabric store. They put their finger on and then they pull out the next one. We're doing the same thing here. Now, I don't want to have to be cutting over here on the 2-inch line, so I'm not going to do 30 again. I'm going to do 20. Pull it out to 20. And then do 12. Okay? Let me move this out of the way so you can kind of see what I'm doing. All right? And then bring it out to the 12. And you're just going to cut that strip at the 12. All right? Now you can see the join here where the two came together, where I finished with 142-inch strip, and then I joined it. Your first ones are probably going to have the joins all in the same place. That's okay. After a while, you're going to be like, they're going to start shifting around because your second seascape might not be next to your second white, okay? Now, take your label back. Put it back on there because, again, you don't want to lose your labeling. And go on to the next one, which is white. Oh, lay it out. Right side up. It doesn't really matter. Well, it does now because you don't want your seam up. So lay that out. Lay them out in the order you're going to sew them. Okay? So first, and then the white. We're going to do white next. Let me see, white. And do the same thing. And you're going to do this for all 5 of them. Okay? And then, and why I chose 5 is that's a good number to cut with, to work with without getting too long of a piece. And it also happens to wind up with, because we have 51 strips, there's stripes in this. Because we have 51 rows, we're going to have, yep, I did mess this up. Okay. Nope, that's okay. All right. Because we have 51, I'm talking and trying to measure at the same time. It never works. Because we have 51, you're going to have 9 rows of 5 and 9 sections of 5 and 1 section of 6. But that's still not too out of whack. And I'd leave your 6-1 to the end. You can do the 6-1 first. I would not do it in the middle for the same reasons. You don't want to do it all at once. If you make a mistake, it's a lot harder to correct. If you've miscounted somewhere, it's a lot easier to just go, oh, I miscounted, now I've got 7 in this section, than, oh, I decided to do 6 in the middle, and now I've only got 3 at the end. Where did I mess up? So that's why you want to do it either 6 at the first one and then 5 every one afterwards, or 6 at the end. I'm doing it at the end, so that's why we're only going to do 5 today. All right. Let's see, white, denim. Let's see, where's my denim? Ah, denim's the first color. There you go. Denim. You can divide it up into another number, but like if you did 10 in a section, what you wind up with is 5 sections, and one has 11 in it, which again gets a little big, and you wind up with an uneven number of sections. And I hate that when you're sewing sections together, but if that works for you, it's okay. You don't, use the number you like. If you're doing this all at once, where you're doing them all, cut them all, lay them out, make sure you've got them all laid out right and slowly. That's why still, even if you're doing it all at once, do it in sections. It's so much easier to check your work on 5 than it is 51. I was trying to recreate this in Electric Quilt 8 so y'all could see it. I could have a picture at least, and I kept messing up somewhere. I think I kept putting a color over white, and I just gave up in frustration. So you don't really want to do that. Okay, we're back to Seascape. So no matter how you do this, do it in sections. Just make your life easier. Do it in sections. Okay, this is the second one of Seascapes. Let's see how that works with where the end is, where the join's going to be. 30. Don't stretch, and this is going to be stretchy. Don't stretch it a lot, okay? You want it to be kind of natural. You can have a little pull, just make sure it's pulled out, but you don't want to stretch it too much. And it's okay if your ends, even though we're measuring this, it's okay if your sides, if one side doesn't match up completely exactly, we can straighten that out at the end. When you've got it all together, we can just go through and even out your ends. Okay? Let's see. Seascape, white, denim, seascape, denim again. Okay, now this is really going to be fun because let's see. My join, yeah. All right. I'll show you at the end when they're all sewn together what the joins look like because I think that's important. I really don't want the joins to be all in the same place, but I can't think of a way to not do that without wasting fabric. So we're just going to, the places where the strips join together is just going to all be how it comes out. And we're going to see how it looks. Because this quilt, it's how the strips are laid out that conveys the message. So you don't want anything that really distracts from that message. And I don't think having creative where the joins end up. There's only 2 rows of denim and they're all in the first one. So let's see how much I have left over. I was a little generous because again we're doing 62 inches and I figured based on 40 inches, but this might be 42. Oh, see the joins right there just as I cut it. And there's the join, so it went into the third one, but it didn't on that one. That's interesting. Okay. So we've cut these all. We've cut the first 5. We're done with the denim, but I'm going to set it aside anyway because that seems to be, yeah, it's part of a last strip. So that went into the last strip just a little bit. So there is some left over, and if you have enough leftovers, you could even do a mini one if you really wanted to. So now we're going to sew them together, all right? And so let's move on to the next step. All right. So you've cut out all the 5, seascape white, denim, seascape white, and you've laid them out. I know you can't really see it right now. You've laid them out so that you can keep them in order. So you take your first one, seascape, right side up, and you flip right side down, so you've got right sides together. You want that seam on top where they join, and on the seascape you want that seam down. All right, now okay, all right, then you're just going to match them up at the top. All right, and one way to flip the joint, to switch the joins, is to flip which end is the top and which end is the bottom. So my joins aren't going to be right next to each other because I flipped the white one long ways around. All right, so you're going to match your top right here. You match, see? And you're going to match your sewing edge right here. And then you're just going to sew the length of it, okay? Using your 1/4 inch seam allowance, you're just going to sew the length of it. Okay. Just a long thing. Making sure y'all can see. But mostly, you're just trying to keep your seam straight, so you don't have to. The feed dogs will guide the fabric pretty much. And I know I'm sounding pretty basic, but yesterday I taught a quilt class how to make a maple leaf block, and there's people who hadn't used a sewing machine in years, so we had to do some basics with them. Let me tell you, the blocks they came up with was just gorgeous. They did fabric choices that I would never have thought of. And one student Didn't like the way I was teaching it. Didn't like how I was cutting stuff. She said, can I do it this way? And I said, if it makes you feel better and more comfortable, go right ahead. And her blocks came out great. My way was good. Her way was good. Because there's no quilt police. I went through this, I said that a lot yesterday. They all came out with really nice blocks, and it was really fun. But the quilt shop owner, who's a good friend of mine, it turns out she and I have really different philosophies about quilting. Now, we all know me and ironing, although she had an ironing station set up. And I realized that if I had an ironing station, that I could have a perma station where I could just have my wool mat set up and have the iron nearby with a plug nearby, just the iron sitting there but not plugged in and ready to go though anytime, I'd probably do more ironing. So it's really more of a convenience choice apparently. And if I had a cordless iron, I'd really be happy, where you just had to flip it on. Panasonic makes a nice one. Nope, my joins are really close together. That's okay. It's going to do that for the first one. Panasonic has a really nice one, but it's not in the budget right now. But someday. Now, when you do get to the joins, you don't want them to all bunch up. And if you want to, you can iron beforehand so that you can iron them over. But honestly, these are just little joins. You can finger press them. Do one up, one down. That way you're not bulking at the same place. If you do them both down or both up, you're going to have a bulk right at pretty much the same place, and you don't want that much bulk. So you don't want to have that. You can iron your seams open if you want. But I just fold them over, up or down. And you just keep going with your 1/4 inch seam allowance until you're done. All right, and you do that on all 5 of your pieces. Again, maintaining order is so important. And work to your left. You're going to open this out. Your first one, seascape, is going to be on the bottom, and your left and your white is going to be second, and you're going to move it over to the left, and you're going to flip your denim onto the white, right side down, so that you've got right sides together, and so that then when you do the second seascape, you're going to move everything to the left, flip the seascape open. That way you always have the heavier piece, the larger piece on the bottom. That prevents it from pulling or you losing the smaller piece underneath the larger piece and having to go back and resew it. We all miss a seam somewhere. We all get off with a seam and you have to go resew it. But what you can do to minimize that is awesome. So you're just going to do that, like I said, with all 5 working over. Always keeping your first seascape here the farthest one. That way you'll keep them in order. And yes, I know I'm harping on keep them in order, keep them in order. It's always important to get your pieces in order, and everybody puts one in the wrong place sometimes, and that's okay. But on this one, it is just so very important to get the order right. Okay? Oh, the machine I was using yesterday, because my friend refurbishes older machines, like from the 40s and 50s. They're still, electric machines, but you have to, but they're so different. And what really got me, they're not so different. It's press the pedal so. But the threading, you had to learn how to thread, and they were side load bobbins, which was something I hadn't done in a while, so I had to remember how to do that. But what really got me, in only a year, I have gotten so used to having this little button that I push that just cuts the thread that I kept looking for it on the machine I was using. I was like, okay, I'm at the end. Oh, there's no button here. Did that more than once. It was hilarious because, of course, I was sewing to show people, here's how you sew to make the half square triangle and stuff. So it was hilarious. So sew all 5 of them, and then I'll show you the next step. as I find my little clicker button. I keep losing the clicker today. All right, so you've sewn your 5 together. Seascape, white, denim, seascape, denim. All right. And this is, remember on this, the blues are the cooler colors, the reds are the darker, are the warmer colors. So from 72 to 76, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76 is the coolest this will ever be. We will never use denim again, which is the cooler ones. We won't use seascape again either. White shows up, but the next blue we use is breeze, which is heading into the warmer colors. So that should tell you something right there about temperatures. Now, you're doing this in sections, whether you're doing it the day all at once or you have a design wall. If you're doing it all at once and in a design wall, just make sure you lay out your sections in the correct order with the seascape on top and lay it out, okay? If you're like me though, and you're going to be doing this in bits and pieces when you have spare time, labels are your friend. You can label it with the years, so you can make sure your years are together. I'm not that fancy. I just put section 1. And you're going to put it on, it's not going to look right here because I'm doing it facing you, but if you were facing you, all right, see, I've got the back side facing you. As it's facing you, put it in the upper left corner. Why the upper left? Because as you're looking at the quilt, this is the top. You want to remember that this one goes on the top. Now, it doesn't matter so much on the first section because you can just look and go, okay, this starts with seascape. But as you get going, you're going to want to remember which is the top so that if it gets flipped, you know, no, wait, that one's not the correct one. This is. It goes up and to the left. When we start sewing them in the sections, which is next time, it's not, you're going to remove these as you're sewing, but as you're doing them, and until you sew that section, leave that label there, all right? Before we go, a couple of things, but that's it on the quilt itself. I just want to do a shout out actually to where I did the class yesterday. It's called Ready, Set, Stitch in Old Ellicott City, and if you're in the area, you know what I mean. It's a great maker space for all things fiber arts. What that means is sewing, quilting, knitting, embroidery, crocheting. They offer classes, they offer one-on-one instruction. It's also a space where if you don't have the space in your home, you can rent time in the studio to go work. So if you have pets and you can't lay out a project because the pets will get in it, you have kids and you have to, you know, keep the stuff away from them because they'll get into it and move everything around. This is a great space where you can go. Or you're stuck at one point of your project and you need help, you can go there and they'll help you. You know, you can rent space there and they'll help you. It's a really great place. I'm looking forward to offering more classes there. So if you're in the area, please check it out again. Ready, Set, Stitch in Old Ellicott City. Just Google it. The other thing is the next session will be about, we're working on the Bargello quilt, which I will move along on that. And other than that, just happy Thanksgiving for my U.S. viewers. I hope you have a happy and safe one. I'm going to be cleaning up my space. Who knows, I might try to figure out a way to have a permanent ironing station, which will make quite a few of my viewers happy if I start ironing more. But yeah, I'm going to be organizing the fabric in the fabric closet over the holiday weekend. But again, happy Thanksgiving, and don't forget to support my work. Everything that we're doing on this Tempestry quilt is over on Ko-fi. Legal Quilts, you'll see it at the end in the QR code. I'll also put the notes, I'll put it in the link in the show notes. So you can follow along in case you missed this video. You can go back and watch old videos on it. So go to my Ko-fi and support me a little bit. Every little bit helps. Don't forget to hit the like button on the video. Always helpful. Share it with your friends. Subscribe if you aren't already. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed. I cannot believe I've hit 400. As of yesterday, I've hit 400 subscribers. I am so excited over that. Also, Christmas is coming. Hit the website. Small Business Saturday is next Saturday. Please remember my website. If you ship, I can't guarantee with the postal service, but if you order something, I will get it out as quickly as I can, and then it's in the postal service's hands whether you get it before Christmas, but I will do my best to make sure you get it. So check out the website, buy something. There's a lot of hosts and hostess gifts there, table runners, mug rugs. Stocking stuffers also make really great things. I'm going to try to add a few things next weekend too, but there isn't a sale though, because my prices are already pretty darn low, and if I lower them any farther, I'm actually going to be losing money. But please check it out, and support is always appreciated. So again, hit the like button, share, and I will see you next time.